move could lead to proscribing of Iran's IRGC, as Yvette Cooper says she continues to be concerned by its activities in the UK. Home Secretary Yvette Cooper has confirmed the government's intention to introduce new laws to prescribe state threats, which could lead to the eventual proscription of Iran's Revolutionary Guard. Communal organizations including the Labour and Conservative Friends of Israel groups, along with the Board of Deputies, have long called for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, to be banned. In a common statement on Monday, Cooper said a review into security by Jonathan Hall Casey had found that the current counter-terror laws were not suitable for dealing with those actors who are state-backed. The Home Secretary told MPs she continued to be concerned by the activities of the IRGC and that new laws will be stronger than current national security powers in allowing us to restrict the activity and operations of foreign state-backed organizations in the UK, including new criminal offences for individuals who invite support for, or promote the group in question. Reform UK's Richard Tice questioned Cooper on why the government had not gone ahead with prescription already, but she responded saying it would act when laws were strengthened to deal with terrorism by state threats. Calls for banning the IRGC were regularly raised under the previous Tory government, with the argument not to do so including wanting to keep diplomatic back channels open with Tehran. Cooper said powers introduced under the last government were not strong enough to prescribe the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC. Responding to Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp, she said, "This government is clear that the rules need to be respected and enforced, and that is why this government is introducing counter-terrorism-style powers to strengthen our border security, something that his party, shockingly, has repeatedly voted against." She added, "Border security is a part of our national security and I am sorry that Mr. Philp is not sufficiently taking seriously the national security threats that we face. I supported the work that his government did on bringing in the National Security Act, but as he will know I repeatedly warned that the powers were not strong enough to be able to use legislation designed for terrorism to be able to prescribe state-backed organizations. We did repeatedly call on his government, if they were not able to prescribe the IRGC, we called on them to strengthen and amend the powers to be able to do so under national security provisions. In fact, we even put forward an amendment to the National Security Act in the last Parliament, and his party voted against it. So, I am glad that he now says he will support our measures to strengthen our national security and to bring forward stronger prescribing powers so that they can be used against all kinds of state-backed organizations or state organizations that might attempt to do us harm." Labour MP Luke Cakehurst asked the Home Secretary about threats to the UK Jewish community from malign Iranian regime actors. He was given an assurances that the safety of the community was paramount to the government. John Pearce, Labour Friends of Israel parliamentary chair, said it was shameful the previous Tory government had not prescribed the IRGC during their 14 years in power. Cooper said Hall, the government's independent reviewer of terrorism legislation, had reported there were gaps in a series of areas, including on prescribing legislation where he identifies a series of legal difficulties in using powers that were designed to deal with terrorist groups for state and state-backed organizations, such as the IRGC. She said the government would take up his recommendations. "We will draw up new powers, modeled on counter-terrorism powers, in a series of areas to tackle those state threats," she said. She added, "I can tell the House we will create a new power of prescription to cover state threats, a power that is stronger than current National Security Act powers in allowing us to restrict the activity and operations of foreign state-backed organizations in the UK." She described a series of grave wider issues related to charges against 3 Iranian nationals. Cooper told MPs, on Saturday, 3 Iranian nationals were charged with offences under the National Security Act 2023. All 3 have been charged with engaging in conduct likely to assist a foreign intelligence service. Additional charges were brought in relation to engaging in conduct including surveillance, reconnaissance, open research with the intention to commit acts of serious violence against a person in the United Kingdom. The foreign state to which these charges relate is Iran, and these individuals are the first Iranian nationals to be charged under the National Security Act. The Home Secretary added that these cases must now also progress through the criminal justice system, which means that until the trial there are limits on what we can discuss so as not to prejudice that process. She said there were a series of grave wider issues where I want to update the House on the stronger action the government is taking to strengthen our national security, including new powers on state threats, further action on Iran and strengthening our border security to keep the public safe. Earlier, a Foreign Office spokesman said the ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Iran to the United Kingdom had been summoned. His Excellency Said Ali Mousavi was summoned in response to 3 Iranian nationals charged under the National Security Act, said an FCDO spokesperson. The UK government is clear that protecting national security remains our top priority and Iran must be held accountable for its actions. The summons follows this weekend's announcement which stated that 3 Iranian nationals had been charged with engaging in conduct likely to assist a foreign intelligence service. Responding to the Hall review, LFI Chair John Pierce MP later said, the IRGC is plotting terrorist attacks, inciting violence and spreading anti-Semitism on Britain's streets. Recent arrests once again show that it is a clear and present danger to the security and safety of the British people. LFI has consistently called for Tehran's terror army to be banned and we welcome Jonathan Hall's proposals for a new power of prescription for state threats. These measures will fulfill Labour's manifesto pledge after years of tough talk but no action on the part of successive Tory governments.